I picked up this John Deere Hydro 175. I believe this is an 83, could be an 84, could be an 82. I've got a John Deere Hydro 165 and it has a flathead engine. This one has an overhead valve engine. Other than that, they're about the same. This is an FC 420B. The flathead is an FB 420B. I bought this for parts. I did not expect it to run. However, when I went to pick it up, the guy cranked it, drove it on the trailer, and turned the blade on and showed that it worked. He said needed a battery, had a flat tire, and carburetor was not this bright, although it had a little, lope to it. What I'm going to do is I have bought a battery, I have bought some seafoam, I bought some tire fix-it. Now this is a dry rotted tire. It may not work, it often doesn't. If there is a leak on the rim, and this one has a rim with, you see this ridge here where this comes out and goes in? Well, that means that the tire sits down in there, so it makes it much harder, much less likely for this one to leak around the rim. But just to get it to the house, I'm going to shoot some of that tire fix-it in that tire and in the front tire. He did put air in the tires and they held air long enough to get it on there. So I'm going to shoot some tire fix-it in it. I'm going to put some good gas in it. I'm going to hook the battery up, put some seafoam in it. We're going to crank it up, drive it up to the house, see what happens next. So I'm going to go ahead and crank it because the tire stuff says to have this at the 6 o'clock position. I think it's mostly so you can kind of get this thing upside down. As small as that tire is and as big as this jar is, I'm pretty sure I can still get plenty in it. But I'm going to see if I can crank it, and if it does, back it up till that's at the bottom, put some of that air in it. Do the same on the front over there, and then once I get it going, I want to run it long enough for the seafoam to work its way through it, and also if that tire fix-it is going to work, I want to run it long enough for the tire fix-it to get splashed around all inside of there. It's not hitting a lick, but it might not hurt to put a splash or something in the carburetor. The guy I got it from cranked it right up, but he had probably done this before I got there. It doesn't look like that's been off there in a very long time though, does it? Look at that. I'm guessing seafoam's flammable. I'm going to dump a little gas of seafoam in the carburetor. By the way, the gas tank was empty on this, which is a good thing because if it sat around without gas in the carburetor, that would be better than otherwise. Also, I don't know if this had non-ethanol or regular gas run through it before. Regular non-ethanol would be better because it wouldn't come up easily as ethanol. Okay, let's try that again. When I looked closer at that bottle of stuff, it was slime. Slime is that green stuff that's a mixture of antifreeze and usually it's got some rag material in it. It didn't have enough pressure to pump the tire up, which is disappointing. That was one of the reasons I bought it, was it said that it would inflate the tire. Maybe I didn't read it good enough. I don't know. Maybe you had to put air in it yourself. Anyway, that's what I am going to do. I'll take the golf cart up there and I'll grab my little air compressor and set it on the back here and bring it back down here and we'll pump that tire up. We just leave it running because it's probably good to run it, run some fresh gas through it. Oh, joy. way, we have an amazing, beautiful day to work with here. The good Lord's been extra good to us. I believe my air compressor is still plugged in and turned on. I believe. I suppose if that tire is dry rotted badly enough so it won't hold air, I might could put a tube in it and get by with that. It looks to have plenty of tread on it. I have put a new tire on other John Deere that I was talking about. I can't remember which wheel it was, but I remember changing it. Okay then, let's go for a ride. I just noticed something. That front tire still got the sticker on it. Them front tires are new. I say new, newish, new old. I turned the mower belt on and it broke the belt. See it? That's okay though. That would have been more than I expected. Story about what I did on this back tire. You're going to think I'm crazy, but if it works, you're going to think I'm freaking brilliant. As you know, I've been working on fixing a leak on this back tire, and when I went to try to take the wheel off, the C-clamp pin, whatever you call that there, I had a heck of a time getting it off of there, even though I do have the right tools for it. And in trying to get it off, I bent this wheel with a wheel puller. And then I fixed the leak without taking it off using a tire plug. But when I inflated it, it was leaking where I had bent the wheel. I didn't really want to take this wheel off. Well, I did, but I couldn't get it off because it's literally frozen to the axle. I bent the wheel with the wheel puller, it wouldn't come off. So I thought I'd try something a little bit ridiculous, and I put some Permatex high-tack gasket sealant. I took a big screwdriver and prized the rubber away from the wheel, and I put the Permatex down in that crack here and here where it was bent. And then I pumped it up just now, and I'm going to watch to see if it goes flat. Now I know it's not leaking as bad as it was yesterday, because yesterday air was just pouring out of it. So we'll see if it holds. We'll see if it holds air. In the meantime, I don't expect this one's going to, but I'm going to mix up and put some more soap. My bubbly solution isn't bubbly right now, so I'm going to put a little extra soap in there, and we're going to splash it all over that tire and see if it's leaking, and if it's leaking, where it's leaking. And then, you know, I might wind up taking all these wheels off. But let's play with it some more. All right, so this is the next day. This is sat all night. You can still see little pieces of Permatex stuck on here, but it has not leaked any air. It is it's holding up. So
I guess that's an interesting way to fix. I know, well, it's probably some other sticky things you could put around the edge of a rim, but in this case, you know, it's one thing when you got air leaking on a tubeless tire around the edge of the rim. It's another when you've actually damaged the rim. That's what I did with this one. By bending it and then hammering it back into place, I created a situation where it wouldn't hold air. But the Permatex high-tack gasket, it's not forma gasket, it's just regular old, we used to just call it, everything that you'd put on gaskets back in the old days, we just called it Permatex. That's about all there was back then. It's just high-tack Permatex. And it did the trick. There you go. We're good. For what it's worth, for those of you that are following the new John Deere, the new old John Deere 175 Hydro, that bottle of green slime that I put in there, it worked on that tire too. So dry rotted as it is, it's still holding good. So now I've got a John Deere 165 Hydro, a John Deere 175 Hydro. I did order a belt for that one, by the way. There's a thing here. I don't have a date. I kind of wondered if it did, but it doesn't. It's made in Moline, Illinois. When was this one here made? Let's get over here and look at it. It's got a plate on it too. But what does it say? What does it say? This says Moline, Illinois 165 lawn tractor. It doesn't have a date on it either. Production identification number. You could probably run that ID number and find out what it's made. I love having these two mowers. These Hydromatics, it could be a little dangerous. You could actually start that mower moving and get off of it and it would go across the yard. Of course, there's a safety thing in the seat, which I always disconnect. So, yeah, they're a little dangerous, but you know, we live for danger. So I got those two, and then I got my big one out here, and I need to do something about the carpenter bees, because they're eating up my boards. It's not as bad today as it sometimes is. Usually there's sawdust all over it. So this is my big John Deere. This is the GT275. I think this one was about a 90-something model. This one's got bolts in the wheels. Yeah, she's a beauty. Lucky me, I got me a few John Deeres. I'm good to go.